You've probably heard this before. If you want to get ahead of 99% of people at work, you just need to be willing to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning ready to start grinding. Work harder than anyone else around you, have the most extreme work ethic, and make sacrifices that nobody else is willing to make, right? Well, actually wrong. You see, I was also convinced of that, just like you might be right now, and unfortunately, that's the kind of advice that you find everywhere on the internet. But in 2018, I learned the hard way that this is not really true. That year, I committed myself to work harder than anybody else around me. I was working day and night, delivering every single work package I had on quality, way ahead of the deadline. And towards the end of the year, I even stepped into a critical project where it looked like a delay would cause my company to lose a few million euros in sales. And thanks to my efforts, they managed to keep the original launch date on time. So as you can imagine, I thought that by the end of the year I would get a promotion, but actually, when the performance review cycle arrived, I did not even get the highest performance score, and of course without it I got no promotion, which made me feel quite frustrated because I had been working really hard the entire year to get that promotion, and I just could not understand how, with the performance I had, I didn't get it, and to a point it even made me question my own worth. Now, what I didn't know at that moment is that this experience would let me discover a game-changing approach on career development, and this is precisely what I want to share here with you today. So at some point I asked my manager how come I didn't get a promotion that year, because my performance had been excellent and I had so many achievements throughout the year. And actually what she answered was that many of those achievements I was talking about, she just didn't know about them. And she also mentioned that actually most of the stakeholders who had a say on who gets promoted and who doesn't, they just simply didn't know about me. So yeah, how was I supposed to get a promotion then? But that's also the moment that she told me about the PIE concept, and I must say that this concept alone, it completely changed the way I manage my career, and thanks to this, I managed to get promotion after promotion. First, let's talk what is this concept. This is a framework developed by Professor Harvey Coleman that brings light on the factors influencing promotions and what matters for career advancement. He basically summarized everything in 3 factors: performance, image, and exposure. Performance is the easiest one to understand. It just relates to your day-to-day tasks, and essentially it relates to the quality of the results that you deliver on a daily basis. Your image is what other people think of you, and you can see it a bit as your personal brand. You just need to take into account that every time you interact with other people, you are projecting a certain image of yourself towards them. So in their head, they will be able to recognize things like, is this person somebody with a positive attitude? Is this person somebody who brings solutions to the problems rather than bringing new problems? And all sorts of questions will go through their brain subconsciously, which will help create the image that they have about you. Now, the third factor is exposure. And exposure is essentially the visibility that you have within your organization. Essentially, it's about who knows about you and who knows what you do. Does your boss know what you do? Does your boss also know what you do? Now, from these 3 items, how much do you think that performance alone contributes to you climbing the corporate ladder? Well, according to him, this is how much performance matters for a promotion. Yes, you saw it right. Performance is only 10% of the consideration for a promotion. The other 90% they come purely from image and exposure. I mean, think about it. You probably have experienced this yourself, where you see some colleague whose performance is not necessarily the best, but somehow they still manage to get promotion after promotion. And the PIE concept explains exactly what this happens, because they are managing very well their image and exposure. Now, don't get me wrong here, this is not to say that performance is not important. Actually, if you're on top of your game, that's precisely what will bring you into the candidate list of people who should get a promotion. But if you want to be the person from that list getting the promotion, you need to make sure that you work on your image and your exposure. In my case, it was very clear. Essentially, people in the organization who had a say in my promotion, they just didn't know about me, so of course, how was I supposed to get a promotion? But in 2019, I completely changed my strategy and I decided to spend more time showcasing my work. I started looking for opportunities to gain visibility by, for example, presenting in town halls or internal meetings, by also joining cross-functional teams so I could show my work not just to people within my part of the organization, but also from other departments they could get to see what I was capable of doing. And I also started managing events for my company and posting about them on LinkedIn, which is also a great way to gain visibility within your company. And despite objectively my performance that year was not as good as the year before, I ended up getting a promotion, and my manager even told me how easy it was to get it. Basically, as soon as my name was proposed, everybody in that room knew what I had been doing during the year, so there was just no discussion, they just agreed right away to my promotion. Now the question is, how can you increase your visibility at work so you can also get your next promotion? And here is where I have 3 strategies that I have seen working multiple times on different people. The first one is to create an exposure calendar. You should think of the key moments throughout the year where you can showcase your work and contributions. These could be team meetings, project presentations, or company-wide events. By planning these moments ahead, you ensure that you are consistently presenting your achievements to the right audience. And ideally, you want to align these exposure opportunities to big milestones happening in your project. The second tip is to think strategically about every interaction that you have. Think about the meetings that you have scheduled for this week or the coming weeks where stakeholders are involved in some way. In a corporate environment, this might not be very common. Maybe you get 60 minutes with one of the stakeholders every 2 weeks. So if you only get 60 minutes every 2 weeks, you better make them count. Here, you should consider what's your role in those meetings. Can you maybe lead a certain part of the discussion so you get that visibility? Or do you have any good results or insights that you can bring into the table and it gives a good image about yourself? Essentially, you should plan your role in that meeting ahead, so you make sure that every interaction brings a long-lasting and positive impression to your stakeholder. The third strategy is to not limit yourself to day-to-day tasks. You can consider, for example, stepping up to organize a team-building event or maybe a small team dinner, or you could even consider taking the lead in organizing a company-wide event. Personally, I've done so in my company by leading a reverse mentoring program for the entire organization, and I can assure you this is one of the best things I've ever done to increase my exposure. Because think about it, these kind of initiatives and events are usually sponsored by senior managers in the organization. So eventually, when the time for a promotion comes, they will already know who you are because they have seen you organizing such events. Now, getting a promotion, I can tell you it's great, but only as long as it's in the same direction that you want to grow your career. But what happens when you don't know what your career path should be? It can actually lead to an unsatisfying career. And that's why you should check this video over here, where I'm gonna guide you on how to make confident decisions to choose the best career path for you. I'll see you over there. Bye.